Based on the scenario, we have chosen two types of assessment for Ms. Cater: peer assessment and authentic assessment. Authentic assessment involves students completing tasks that emulate what they would be doing in the real world. It creates a connection between classroom assessment activities and what students will be working on outside of the classroom after graduation. These tasks should be relevant for their profession or subject. The assessment should be given the same context as the real-life task, including the same social context, for example, allowing students to consult with others if they would do so for the task, the same physical context, using tools or working within the same time restraints that would be used for the real task, the same quality standards as would be acceptable for a real-world project. According to Dubeck, authentic assessment tasks have 10 key characteristics. They are relevant to the real world. They should emulate what students will do in their field as much as possible. They are ill-defined. They are complex and need time to complete. They require that learners review different perspectives and a variety of resources. They encourage collaboration. They encourage reflection. They encourage cross-disciplinary thinking. They are integrated with assessment. They should stand on their own. And they should have multiple solutions. Muller identified two types of authentic assessment tasks: products and performances. Some examples of product authentic assessment tasks that may be suitable for Ms. Cater's fashion students are writing a blog on predicted fashion trends for the season, designing and creating a garment, preparing a website for a fictional fashion brand. Some examples of performance authentic assessment tasks that may be suitable for Ms. Cater students are interviewing an expert in the fashion field, putting on a live fashion show, giving an oral presentation about the history of a fashion line. Authentic assessment can help measure how well students can apply the knowledge of their field instead of simply having them demonstrate understanding. It gives students an opportunity to engage in constructivist learning, where they build understanding through experience. They give students more freedom in how to accomplish a task compared to assessing through tests. Ms. Cater can build authentic assessments based on her own extensive professional experience to help her students develop skills they'll need in the fashion industry. Authentic assessment has been found to help students develop higher-order cognitive skills, increase confidence, be more engaged and motivated, improve self-regulation, and develop more awareness of their own thought processes. Some disadvantages of authentic assessments are they typically require more time for a student to complete compared to assessments like a test, needing days or weeks instead of minutes or hours. Creating the assignment and grading may be time-consuming or complex. There may be unpredictable elements such as a weather delay for a photo shoot or an event students were to report on being cancelled. Some students may be anxious, especially if they have limited experience with this type of assessment. The potential disadvantages of authentic assessment can be limited by allowing enough time for students to complete the assessment and weighting the assessment appropriately to reflect the complexity of the work, creating a rubric for consistency in grading, considering the needs of the learners in advance, including accommodations and giving information on supports available to them, and having a backup plan or allowing for extensions if something goes wrong that is out of the learner's control. Peer assessment can be defined as a set of activities through which individuals make judgments about the work of others. Individuals may make judgments about real or hypothetical work. When students assess real work, it generally comes from other students in the same course. Peer assessment involves students in assessment, generates feedback that might be useful to the evaluated peer, and also gives the peer assessor insights as to how their own work might be improved. By Ms. Cater including student-centered learning experiences as opposed to teacher-centered, she's allowing the students to direct more of their learning. Also, it allows both Ms. Cater and the students to learn together, which is also useful as Ms. Cater is in the beginning stages of her teaching career. Peer assessment advantages. According to Reinholds, peer assessment provides students with opportunities to reflect upon their own understandings, build on prior knowledge, generate inferences, integrate ideas, repair misunderstandings, and explain and communicate their understandings. Peer assessment can have a variety of benefits for students, such as improved conceptual understanding, communication skills, and self-assessment skills. Students have difficulty assessing their own understanding of topics and often overestimate their abilities. By utilizing peer assessment, peers are often able to assess the skills and characteristics of others better than of themselves. Peer assessment is not without some disadvantages. The process of assessing peer work is often a novel activity for students. Peers may not easily accept responsibility for assessing peers. Students may perceive peer assessment as unfair, and peers may not feel safe receiving an evaluation from a peer. Peer work can be scaffolded through instructor modeling, class discussions, and feedback on students' peer assessments. It's important to instill the idea that peer assessment is beneficial for all participants involved. Another aspect is to promote the benefits of peer assessment. Consistent with our expectations, the structural model shows greater use of peer assessment is associated with focusing on the positive learning advantages of peer assessment. Because a positive relationship between peer assessment experience and awareness of its advantages are meaningful predictors of self-reported use, training programs that build teacher competence in peer assessment are needed. Training educators in the importance of peer assessment will also help in further adoption of the practice. A crucial piece may be getting teachers to practice peer assessment themselves with other teachers in a professional development program so as to gain expertise prior to their giving students training in peer assessment. In this way, educators will have first-hand experience and practice with peer assessment so that they can imbue the advantages and benefits of it in the classroom to their students with confidence. Examples. Formative feedback. Formative feedback can be given through various online tools or learning management systems. Students provide formative and constructive feedback on drafts that students are able to revise before submitting a final product. Students get peer feedback after each assignment and are then able to apply the feedback to each subsequent assignment with the goal of improving over time. Peer grading. Various online tools can be used here to administer peer grading and evaluation. Students grade their peers using an online rubric, and final scores for a particular assignment are typically tallied by taking the median value of all peer grades that the assignment has received. Peer assessment of group work participation. Many instructors use peer assessments to supplement instructor grades by adding a participation component to group assignments. Students give a participation score and overall comments for each group member using a rubric that is based on criteria that the instructor establishes. The instructor then uses these evaluations to give each student an overall participation grade for the assignment.